Cărți, bani, colege, le poți avea pe toate, prietene licean. Îți și spun cum, iar strategia va fi agreată și de babaci. Te înscrii la cursul extracurricular Finanțele Mele și ai făcut deja primul pas în a-ți împlini visele materiale. Dar eu zic să pui și suflet, pentru că sufletiști sunt și voluntarii care îl predau. Profi de profit. Tu profită de profi.
What do you mean, what are you supposed to do? You should go and talk to her.
Come on.
Come on, man.
Wow, am nimerit la ora de limba engleză aici
Nu.
la colegiul Matei Basarab?
Nu ne este colegiul, dar ne exercităm și noi limba pentru business, a doua limbă.
Sunt la un curs de finanțe, după cum puteți observa.
Uf, la finanțe, deci am nimerit bine. Stai că începe ora.
Cursul se numește Finanțele Mele și așa cum ați aflat și în cadrul primei noastre întâlniri, vă va ajuta să vă organizați mai bine, să vă gestionați mai bine bugetul, dar chiar și viața personală. Dau cuvântul invitatului nostru de onoare, căruia îi mulțumim încă o dată.
First thing that we'll do is ask you about you and about your ambitions.
I was thinking about what university I will choose, and I was thinking about architecture.
Architect as a course.
Yes,
Is that because you're interested in being an architect in the future?
yes, and I really like to draw and to create something new, something special.
I be a liar. I want to be a liar.
You want
Lawyer.
to be
Lawyer. No liar.
I understand.
I'm not a liar.
You want to be a lawyer?
Yes.
So we've got an architect, we've got a lawyer. Who wants to do something different over here? Go on then.
Well, I want to be a psychologist.
A psychologist.
Yes, I might be the one that heals his customers, or
We might all be customers of yours, actually. We'll talk a little bit about lending, because you mentioned the UK student loans and the international loans as well. So you're thinking about a loan. What kind of things are you thinking about?
well, when I think about getting a loan, first I can think about how will I pay it back.
So when you take out a loan, there are a couple of things that you need to bear in mind. Firstly is the paying it back. And it's surprising how many people don't think about paying it back when they have a loan. But part of it is the interest rate, and then think about the kind of length of time that you take the loan out for. Because the longer that you take the loan out for, the less you have to pay in capital, the amount of the loan backwards, back to the bank. But also, if you take a loan for a long time, the amount of interest that you pay is normally very high. And the reason for that is that interest is calculated on the time that you take the loan out.
Yes.
Yeah? So if you have a mortgage, say, over 25 years, the amount of capital that you actually pay every month is very, very small. Most of the loan that you take out is interest over the 25 years. So be careful about how much you take out in terms of the length of the loan, because if you can afford to repay it more quickly, it's always better. What about saving money? Is anybody thinking about saving anything?
Iar mă ții de vorbă. Ce mai vrei de data asta? Ce dacă mai economisi? Vorbim afară să termină imediat ora.
So are none of you thinking about saving in advance? Do any of you work today? Do any of you do some part-time work today?
I had a part-time job in this summer vacation. Not too much work.
What did you do?
Giving flyers.
So handing out flyers.
Yes.
How much did it pay?
600 flyers.
600 lei per block of flyers, was it?
5,000 flyers.
5,000. Yeah, that's not bad. I used to deliver papers. Into people's doors. There was in a place I used to live, which was up in the north of England in Leeds. They used to hand out a free paper, and I used to go around people's houses putting papers in people's doors, and it was a lot worse paid than that, I have to say, but it was good exercise, and it certainly got you up in the morning. It's like all these ambitions that you have to be an architect or a lawyer or a psychologist. You do have to do some planning, and you do have to think about what it would take in financial terms to get what you want.
7 or 8 years ago, the only thing I was hoping is that money will come out of nowhere and I will marry a rich guy. None of them happened, so yes, a big change that happened is that you have to find a job, and the next plans will depend, of course, on the income I have, but most of them will be linked with traveling.
I'm wondering how many of you wants to become banking employees. I've seen different other jobs, but I hope that there are some among you.
I did a course in medieval history at university, but I went into banking. You know, I wanted to be a professor of history. So don't forget that your mind might change and you might think of some different alternatives. So it's always a good thing to have some choices. And that applies actually not just to your choice of university, it's about your choice of car, your choice of your lifetime partner, your choice of the house that you live in or the apartment that you live in. All those are very big personal and financial decisions, and they all require some financial planning. So, and there are two ways to do financial planning. One is saving for the future, and the other is borrowing.
Is it any moment when you think what it was if I would become a history teacher? I mean, do
I regret not being a history teacher?
Yes.
No. My philosophy is never to look back, always to look forward and look what you can do that might change some of the results of what you've done, but always look forward and try and change things for the future, and don't worry about what's happened in the past. Mulțumesc. So do you want to, thank you very much indeed. Let's take a picture. There we go.
Gata, hai că s-a terminat cursul. Acum poți să mă întreb ce vrei tu. Dar până să mă întreb tu, să spun eu altceva. Ce faci tu când o să crești numai muzică, numai dans, toată ziua? Gata, ai început să mă nebunești. Ce o să faci când te faci mare? Ha?